everybody, my name is Kim and welcome back to my channel, Bookmarks and Breadsticks, a channel that focuses on everything bookish and everything food. But just a reminder, food books are not cookbooks. Food books cover the world of food writing, which include food memoirs, world and travel, food history, and everything fun and delicious in between. I'm here today to talk about two different food books. I'll call these food reviews the history and special topics around utensils. I don't think we give utensils enough credit. Anything from a pot, a pan, a fork, a knife. It's a world within food writing I actually hadn't read a lot about before. So the two books I have today are Consider the Fork, A History of How We Cook and Eat by B. Wilson, and Copper, Iron, and Clay, A Smith's Journey by Sarah Damon. So I will admit that Sarah Damon's book, when I saw it online, I thought it was a memoir, and then it showed up, and it's pretty much like a coffee table kind of read. B. Wilson is a writer I have known a lot about for the past few years. I was first introduced to her on one of the first episodes of Gastropod. If you do not know the podcast Gastropod, I highly recommend it. It is a podcast that focuses on food in the lens of history and science with two hosts, Nicola Twilley and Cynthia Graber, and I want to be them. I want to be their best friends. I want to be them when I grow up. Anyway, that's a podcast. We're here to talk about books. So, two different books that focus on two different areas within this large breadth of utensils. So this book is an indispensable cookware reference that everyone should have in their library. I actually, when I was traveling to New York to see my friends, brought this book with me because I have a friend who loves grilling, smoking. He has multiple cast iron pots and skillets, and I really thought he would enjoy this. So the book is broken up obviously into copper, iron, and clay, but what I was surprised and delighted with about the book was that each section goes into the history of the original ingredient or ore. There are interviews with different chefs and experts around the world who work with the materials. There are beautiful pictures, and she does put a recipe at the end of each chapter. But unlike other books I've read, the recipes don't overwhelm the majority of the text. You can actually really learn a lot from this book. It also helps you know how to buy well. I wouldn't know the first thing of buying a copper pot, and they explain the difference between what's a copper pot versus something that's just lacquered in copper. One of the biggest takeaways I got as a consumer is that if a copper pot is being sold for $50 or under, it's most likely just laminated in copper and is not actually worth your salt. If you go to Sarah's website, you can buy those little cups that Moscow mules come in that are pure copper. Each cup is $60. So you will pay for quality, but it is something that you can pass on through the generations. So I thought it was a really fun read. I'd give it a solid 4 out of 5. I've already shown it to at least two of my friends, two of my dudes who really like to cook and grill. So the other book I wanted to talk about is Consider the Fork. This is B. Wilson's book. So B. Wilson actually has quite a few books, and this was the first one in her portfolio for bibliography. I think the word's bibliography, and that's what I wanted to start with. Her book chapters are slightly different. She has, clay, pot, knife, kitchen, eat, refrigerator. It's all about ice. It's all about how these different elements have greatly impacted the way we eat. My favorite fun fact from this book is that in the, even before the Renaissance, I wish I'd written it down, people, including women and children, used to carry a knife attached to like a metal chain on their hip. And that was how they would stab and eat food at the table. And I guess also have a shank ready if you needed to fight someone down a dark alley. But that's a long way from the knife that we have now. And like the butter knife, for example, is this useless implement that's only good for spreading. It's not a good knife for cutting things. Meanwhile, the original knife you used to wear on your belt and you used to shank people with it. And in other chapters, you learn how the fork is an evolution of a knife with more prongs and etc. I think one of the most interesting chapters is actually the importance of ice, because ice was the first step to refrigeration, which allowed us in America to start really moving product across different state lines that you normally would not have access to. Refrigeration is also what revolutionized the cattle industry and the beef industry. This was really fun, and apparently one of the best inventions, according to B. Wilson, was a vegetable peeler that came out in the 1990s, and it has a Y shape. I think we all know what this kind of vegetable peeler looks like, but it's got a base, ergonomic, I think it's called ergonomic, is that the word? Where it's easy to hold and has a nice Y. It makes it really easy to work with. I would give both of these books solid 4 out of 5s. I think that this is a great table read. It's really interesting, and I think B. Wilson's book makes history super approachable. I think it might be because she just inserts a sense of humor into her book. You can hear what she finds ridiculous, what she loves. It's almost like you can hear her laugh, and she is an English writer, and I loved little moments of her accent that kind of popped out in the pages. I loved both of them, and it was really fun to learn about an area of the food world that I totally take for granted. One of the things in pop culture, if you've seen the movie Ratatouille, if you look in the scenes of the kitchen where they cook, they actually brought in Thomas Keller of the French Laundry, a famous Michelin star restaurant on the West Coast, to consult for the movie. And one of the things that he made sure happened is that in the movie you'll see they cook with all copper pots. Why? Because it is a sign of the original French practices to cook with copper, but also shows a level of luxury. Like, you have made it if your entire kitchen staff is cooking with copper pots. So that was a little fun fact I just wanted to throw out for you guys. This is my review of 2 different books in the utensil space. Do you like this approach? How are you feeling about doing 2 reviews at once and focusing on a topic versus going 1 book at a time? Let me know in the comments below. I would love your feedback. But this concludes another episode with bookmarks and breadsticks. Again, my name is Kim. I really hope you like and subscribe. I try to put out a video every Tuesday. If I'm lucky, I can put out a second one on Saturday. Until I see you next time, have a great day or a great night.